Let's get ready to... Happy New Year! Welcome back to episode 3 of GeeKlare. I'm Donnie, and Kit's also here. Say hi, Kit.
Gee, so long, Kit. We decided to dress as our favorite Tolkien character because we can't toast on the job here.
So I've been told multiple times.
So why was I the only one who dressed like Frodo? You said you were going to dress as his best friend.
I know, I didn't forget that. You think I forgot? No! My outfit's in the break room, right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll show you. You don't believe me? I'll show you. You close your eyes. Wait right here. I'll be right back with my outfit that I have prepared. Just entertain the people, entertain the audience while I go get this. I'm gonna go change. You entertain the people.
Well, if you're like Donnie and you also missed J.R.R. Tolkien Day, don't worry. There's still Tolkien Reading Day on March 25th. Oh, he's coming back. I'm so excited. This better be good.
Ta-da! I'm Gollum.
It's supposed to be Sam. Oh my god, why are you naked again?
Guess where I'm wearing my precious.
Oh.
It was all I had on short notice. Okay, fine, I forgot.
I knew it. I decided to binge the Russell T. Davies Doctor Who specials, the Star Beast, the Wild Blue, the Giggle, and the Church on Ruby Road, all showing on Disney+. When I was little, on a clear day, we could pick up a Canadian PBS broadcast of classic Doctor Who. I mean, decades old classics. Who was your first Doctor, Donnie?
My first Doctor was the 9th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, from the 2005 reboot. I'll be honest, when I first started watching Doctor Who, it was for a girl.
Aw, thanks, Donnie.
No, not you.
I don't know how to feel about this, but go on.
That 2005 reboot was a good time, but when I saw that the series started back in the 60s as an educational kids program, I wasn't sure I wanted to binge the whole thing. The regeneration gimmick initially was also a turnoff for me because if I really loved an actor, I thought they were never coming back, so it was kind of like, what was the point of that, right? It was Dylan McDermott in American Horror Story all over again. But the show kept my interest. Then the franchise eventually put a doctor next to Batman in Lego Dimensions, and I was hooked again.
The first one I remember most vividly was the Third Doctor. Specifically, the way John Pertwee's cloak would sort of flutter like a matador's cape whenever he'd use his Venusian Aikido on that week's bad guy. I was way too young to realize that he'd been banished to Earth by the Time Lords as a punishment. So I ended up being pleasantly surprised when he and his companions finally got to travel off-world. Looking back, I noticed the writers tried to keep the series relevant and competitive with other programs, by giving the Doctor more progressive companions and giving Pertwee a makeover. He was more of an action hero in the vein of John Steed from the Avengers meets Q from James Bond. During high school, I joined my local Doctor Who fan club, which was great because we'd watch bootlegs of all the Doctors, Derek Jane Adventures, Torchwood, Class. We even got to see 2 episodes of number 7 Sylvester McCoy until it got canceled. Thankfully, that turned out just to be a very long hiatus. But at the time, it was bupkis until the American TV movie with Eric Roberts as the Master.
Eric Roberts isn't just the master, he's one of the smartest people in Hollywood right now. He made over 60 movies last year. Now, you might say, well, those are all straight to video. Well, allegedly, he's on the short list of actors who will do any movie for $5,000. You do the math on that. 5,000 times 60? That's a lot of Jelly Babies money. Anyway, A lot of fans had strong feelings about the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and how Chris Chibnall ran the series. Do you have a hot take over there? You're looking at me like you have a hot take.
Well, it's not that controversial. It's just that sometimes fans can be mercurial, whiny little bitches.
Uh, okay, now I feel like you're actually trying to get us canceled.
Oh, it's about time. I'm just being extremely honest. Doctor Who started off as a PBS live action Sherman and Mr. Peabody history lesson and evolved into sci fi fantasy that always managed to highlight inclusivity, compassion, cooperation, and coexisting. No matter what he looked like after regenerating or how the new writers and actors interpreted the character.
This literally happens every time DC casts new Jokers, Batman, and Superman. The public freaks out before we even see them on screen, and inevitably the new version becomes somebody's favorite. And unlike most fandoms, Doctor Who tells you there's a limited time with this Doctor, so how can you complain when you only have to watch one season? If no one watches, that version won't be back. If ratings go up, then maybe it's multiple seasons. It's really simple, actually. But circling back, why do you, and I emphasize you, why do you say Doctor Who fans can be whiny little bitches?
Because there was a major outcry when they cast Jodie Whittaker as the first female Doctor. There were other female Time Lords, Romana, Ronnie, River, Missy, that male Time Lord we saw regenerate into a woman. It's just not a clutch my pearls concept here, but misogynist had a meltdown.
Why whiny over Chris Chibnall, though? He brought in fresh writers. That usually makes the series less stagnant and can hopefully bring in a new audience.
It should have been a good thing. It felt like the new writers either didn't learn series basics or just didn't care about myth arc continuity. They blew devastating plot holes into the series canon. Even fans had to take a mental marathon down memory lane for the couple of callbacks they managed to work in.
I can see how that would turn off casual channel surfing viewers, but why were the fans whiny?
Chibnall had the really bad Chris Carter stream of consciousness habit of tossing in a zillion questions and concepts, then never circling back to explain, answer, or even wrap them up. For example, introducing the fugitive doctor played by Joe Martin, then zip, nada, zilch. At least Big Finish Productions is supposed to make a 6-story audio series called The Fugitive Doctor's Adventures.
What was so bad about Whittaker having so many companions? Aren't they supposed to be like a proxy for the viewers?
Yeah, they are. Except for the 6th Doctor, all the rest could have 3 companions also simultaneously. Sometimes even more if you factored in episode-specific or reoccurring ones, for example, the various unit members. To me, the problem wasn't the quantity of companions, it was the lack of quality. The writers gave them a bum's rush introduction, then they were just set dressing that lacked any real character development, which doesn't mean I didn't like the actual actors. I've been fond of Bradley Walsh since he was D.S. Donnie Brooks in Law and Order UK. Chibnall's dislike was mildly justified when it came to convoluted plots. They seemed better suited to an 80s after-school special or that canceled Muppet segment, Prigs in Space. The social commentary felt preachy and heavy-handed instead of insightful and thought-provoking. Not to mention rapid fire. Every episode dove soapbox first into ageism, bigotry, disabilities, PTSD, racism, or sexism.
There's a sitcom trope called a very special episode, where they would dedicate a special episode to a particular issue, drugs, racism, what have you. If every episode is special, then no episode is special. Sounds like Doctor Who should have learned from that. I remember David E. Kelly would do a serious episode about the death penalty on one of his legal dramas, and then the next week, William Shatner's Danny Crane would do something silly again and bring you back to the regular show and make you laugh again. They should have taken a page from that. That all being said, though, I mean, come on. Everybody has preferences with timeless characters. You're telling me you love every Doctor Who iteration?
Fine, I'll say it. I boycotted 2 seasons.
But you loved the Doctor. How could you miss 2 whole seasons? Fake fan, fake fan.
Oh, God. Let me put it this way. I take a regeneration badly, okay? I was heartbroken.
Ooh, let me guess. Another Byers, Frohike, and Langley situation?
It was closed casket. No one saw the lone gunmen's bodies.
How the hell aren't you past the first stage of grief? That happened like 22 years ago, Kit.
They don't have to be in order.
So you're in the last stage of grief?
No. Speaking of caskets, though, Richard Franklin, who played Sergeant Mike Yates of Unit, just passed away on the 25th of December this past year.
Well, rest in peace to him. But don't get off topic. You were explaining Chibnall's mistakes?
Well, the mouth breeders got all bent that Whitaker's companion Yaz, played by Mandip Gill, was in love with her. To make matters worse, by the time Yaz did confess her feelings to the doctor, or any companion wanted to have a serious conversation with her, Whitaker's doctor is suddenly on the autism spectrum and had to pop off to tinker with the TARDIS. The writers take years of myth arc building, at least twice, if not more, when they had Whitaker cavalierly commit the genocide of the Cybermen and Daleks. Since the 2005 reboot, the Doctor's been dealing with all the repercussions from his actions as the War Doctor, played by the late John Hurt. Then they ruined the Doctor's origin story in two ways. His mother was supposed to be Leela, played by Louise Jameson, who was a companion of the Fourth Doctor, played by Tom Baker. They said his mother was really the sadistic scientist Tectun, played by Saylan Baker, and surprise, his DNA is actually the template for every Time Lord's ability to regenerate.
It's sort of sounding like the whiny little bitch fan might be calling from inside of the podcast.
I plead the fifth, but wait, there's more. The cherry on the shit show Sunday, the Master, played by Sacha Dhawan, just up and annihilates Gallifrey. Again. Literally seasons of work up in dust. Now, I know a lot of people say Sacha overacted and really couldn't stand his version of the Master. I don't want you to think that's all he can do. On Hulu, he was Orlo in The Great. He played Dr. Sharma in Netflix's Dracula series, and he was Davos in The Iron Fist. Look at those pieces of his work, and you'll see he really is a really good actor.
Let's see. You clocked him in a mock-you-historical period drama, a superhero series, then a horror series. Sounds like someone thinks the Master has swag.
You know, I've got a tinker in the TARDIS.
No, wait, come back. What did you think about Russell T. Davis's holiday series?
I think Davis gave himself an ingenious get-out-of-trouble loophole and did what he does best: foreshadowing, callbacks, and homages.
How so?
The first two episodes were heavily influenced by the Robert Heinlein novel of the same name, The Star Beast, and Werner Herzog's 2005 film of the same name, Wild Blue Yonder. The last two were homages. The giggle was inspired by John Logie Baird's use of a ventriloquist doll's head named Stooky Bill in 1925 to send the first entirely successful television transmission. Then, the church on Ruby Road is apparently tipping its fez to Gremlins, the Star Wars Cantina, Jabba the Hutt, and David Bowie's circa Labyrinth.
I heard there was a song and dance in the Christmas special, too.
Doctor Who composer Murray Gold and Davis wrote the Goblin song. Christian Rodondo, Shooty Gatwa, and Millie Gibson performed it.
It's available on Apple Music, BBC Sounds, Deezer, iTunes, and Spotify. All proceeds go to the BBC charity Children in Need. Not a sponsorship, just a nice thing to do.
Whitaker regenerates into the 14th Dr. Tennant, and Donna Noble, played by Catherine Tate, gets a hard myth arc redo. She gets to have her memories restored. And some great foreshadowing. When we last left Dr. Donna, she was dying, stuttering binary. Dr. Donna is the female counterpoint to the Doctor's masculine energy. Her daughter, Ruby, played by Yasmin Finney, is also transgender. With Ruby's help, Donna safely releases the Time Lord's regeneration energy. Her daughter, Ruby, played by Yasmin Finney, is also transgender. With Ruby's help, Donna safely releases the Time Lord's regeneration energy. Due to meddling from the toy maker, played by Neil Patrick Harris, Tennant simultaneously regenerates into the 15th Doctor, Shooty Gatwa, who happens to be black and gay. Gatwa then uses the toy maker's mallet that still has residual prize energy in it to create his very own teal-washed wood grain TARDIS.
That's not how typical regenerations work, though.
Yeah, you're right. In the past, Time Lords would usually regenerate as a new, random face, along with a new personality. If they weren't regenerating because of imminent death, they might be able to stave it off for a bit, or could consciously choose to resemble a person they've met before. In Wild Blue Yonder, while he and Donna are at the edge of the known universe, Donna doesn't fully comprehend the mavity of the situation. She accidentally invokes superstitions. It ends up having a huge butterfly effect, opening up a multiverse, making the Time Lord fable of bigeneration an actual reality, which is how Tennant and Gatwa are simultaneously the same doctor in the same timeline.
I see what's going on here. Two hearts, two doctors. Toymaker played a trick on you.
Yeah, Davis did. If there's a huge phobic backlash over Gatwa and his companion Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, the whiny little bitches have David Tennant and Catherine Tate waiting in the wings.
You never did say which doctor you boycotted.
I'm sure the jerk would be a perfectly fine period piece butler or corpse on Midsummer Murders, but to this very day, I ignore him the way most fans ignored Paul McGann or Peter Cushing.
Well, I'm proud of you for putting on your big kit pants and giving the guy you still didn't name a fair chance. You were definitely the complete polar opposite of a whiny little bitch.
Mullen, still can't stand him, Baker, okay? That's who I boycotted.
You wouldn't even want his autograph or something like that?
Well, if the little Make-Wish kid gives me one, then I guess I'd accept it because I'm a completionist. But I'd file it behind a Porter John Davros autograph pic.
I'm sure the sick child would appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just helping him out here.
It wasn't lost on me that you mentioned Van Helsing was a doctor.
Oh yeah, it was pretty awesome. On the big screen, we actually got films with Peter Cushing, the AARU productions in the 65 Doctor Who and the Daleks, and in 1966 the Daleks Invasion Earth, 2150 AD.
Well, moving on from that sweet, sweet Doctor Who talk. Unfortunately, we lost some people from the wrestling world last month. Before we move on to the new year, we want to acknowledge the passings of British Rev Pro star Mad Curtis Chapman, Killer Khan, Masashi Ozawa, and Leaping Lanny Poffo, aka The Genius. Khan was known for feuding with Hulk Hogan and for injuring Andre the Giant's leg. He was the pioneer of the Mongolian chop. Years ago at WrestleCon, I had the pleasure of interviewing Lanny Poffo. He was very generous with the fans that day. He was signing free autographs and taking free pictures. He was doing a dead-on impersonation of his brother Macho Man Randy Savage. I've never heard Randy Savage impersonated better than that day, which makes sense because it's his brother, right? And even though he was called the Genius, Lanny was actually very humble. Humble enough to admit his brother was the bigger star anyway, which some people have a problem with, i.e. your Frank Stallones and whatnot. The next year after that interview, Lanny even remembered my contact info and surprised me with a happy birthday message. He will be missed, and I can say that personally.
And I feel like a heel because we can't really say much about Mad Kurt. We don't get a lot of exposure to UK wrestlers in the States.
Comment down below with your favorite Mad Kurt matches, memories, promos, whatever you got. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to see it.
Speaking of people leaving wrestling, PWInsider.com reported that after 40 years, WWE's executive TV producer and chief of global television distribution, Kevin Dunn, was retiring. Hope he's got that Eric Roberts moolah. Even before the first WrestleMania, he was with the company. There are several rumors about his replacement, and one rumor even says it'll take 2 people to fill his shoes. Dunn allegedly claimed to be unhappy with WWE's new TKO management, saying he never really wanted to work somewhere dictatorial.
He worked for Vince McMahon for 40 years, though. What you mean you don't want to work for a dictator? Honestly, he's doing what I thought Vince McMahon would do with the whole TKO merger. When you're pretty much used to being your own boss for decades, and someone new comes in and wants to change things and do it differently, of course anything they say feels dictatorial. Oh, and speaking of dicks...
Really? I thought one of your resolutions was turning over a new leaf. I didn't know it was going to be your fig leaf. Okay, that's one of my New Year's resolutions, trying to be more patient.
In a follow-up to episode 2, MJF told comicbook.com he wants to put out an album and act within the next 5 years. It's crazy, I didn't even know he had musical aspirations. I don't even know if he has musical talent, but that didn't stop a lot of other artists. It's just funny because I joked about how he'll probably main event WrestleMania in 5 years, and I'll look like an idiot for saying I think he's overrated. But now it sounds like he might be trying to be the next Rock or the next John Cena in Hollywood instead of that.
Wasn't he in the Iron Claw movie about the late Von Erich family?
Yeah, I still haven't seen that, but I hear it's great, and they're talking about doing one on the Guerreros next because the Iron Claw did so well. Now that I did the Warner Brothers 100 challenge, I think I'm gonna track every new movie I watch in 2024 and make some big epic video at the end of the year. Ironclaw is probably gonna be on that list real soon.
Oh, Chavo! Leaping Luchadors, that'd be awesome! Side note, it's pretty much Eddie Guerrero's fault that I became a WCW fan.
Don't blame Eddie just because you're easy. Easily impressed.
Easily? You mean easily? Anyway, you don't. But you should get what I mean. During the week, sometimes wrestlers just have to fill the time, which sounds so simple. But what if someone else's match gets cut, or the other guys just can't do it? Let me put it this way. Would you rather watch 10 minutes of Hulk Hogan trade movie slaps with another lumbering brick house, or 10 minutes of beautiful grappling by master mat technicians like Eddie and the now disgraced, but God was he awesome, Chris Benoit? It's like comparing a chicken nugget to an organic turducken. I know what my choice is. I really resent the fact roid rage and concussions led to a lamentable crime of passion that destroyed any chances for Benoit to garner any future fans.
How dare you? You can only stuff a turducken. Chicken nuggets come with sauces.
It's WrestleMania season again. The Rock showed up at day one and teased a match with Roman Reigns. In the same segment, Jinder Mahal came back. Carlito showed up on New Year's Evil, and it's rumored Sasha Banks and Andrade will return. Maybe they'll be back for the Royal Rumble.
Maybe. Now, speaking of which, would you like to make a friendly wager on the Royal Rumble? You know, that's the whole fun of the Rumble is the numbers. It's all about the numbers with the Rumble. So, how about this, okay? I will bet you $1 Canadian.
Of course.
We'll draw a random number, and whoever comes out at that number, that's our wrestler who has to win. It's fun, right? It'll be fun. So, okay, ladies first.
That sounds sexist.
No, it sounds polite.
Sure thing, Fig Newton.
Fine, I'll go first.
Well, I didn't say I wouldn't go first.
Well, make up your freaking mind already.
Okay, let's just be fair. We'll go alphabetically. Just ask Alexa.
Okay, fine, I will. Alexa, pick a number between 1 and 30.
Here's a number between 1 and 30, 29.
Oh, you bitch! God damn. You know what?
I'm calling HR.
No, not you. No, not you, Alexa. No.
Likely story.
Okay, now, well, that, you know what? That's fine. Let's see what number you got. Alexa, pick a number between 1 and 30.
Here's a number between 1 and 30, 11.
Next time we better use 3 10-sided dice. At least there won't be called names.
I was talking to Alexa.
Fine. Okay, what if they both lose or say they both win? You know, that's happened a couple times.
Well, then it cancels the bet out. Unless you want to let it ride on something else.
I am so over being patient.
No. It's a gambling term. You know what? Let's move on.
In video game news, South Park Snow Day releases on March 26th. I thought the trailer was promising. I noticed they said 4-player co-op. I hope that means you had pals over for a South Park viewing party, 4 controllers, and voila, you have some fun. But when they go home, you can still play the game solo with AI. I hope it's not an MMO streaming and you're stuck with 3 mystery jags. As a Lapsed fan, which isn't as bad as a lapsed Catholic, I gotta say Cartman still makes me laugh.
Yeah, you mean the part in the trailer when he's like,
Finish the quest, get powered up, and stop embarrassing me. Beep. I cast a spell, your health is back to 100, get the fuck up.
yeah, I like that part too.
Yeah, and the fact that he wasn't concerned that they all took massive hits. How about you?
I thought the first two games were awesome. I liked the Fractured But Whole better than the Stick of Truth because I'm a superhero guy more than a fantasy guy usually. I'm excited for the possibilities with Snow Day though. A villainous Stan is something we've never seen before on the show. It gives his character a little more potential depth. I'm wondering if they'll use the recent multiverse storyline they did to explain all the new kids you're playing with. And if so, what does that mean for the rest of the game? Do we get the diverse Cartman again? Do we get alternates of other characters that maybe we haven't seen yet? There's a lot of possibilities with the multiverse. But wait, we've got even more gamer news than you can shake a joystick at.
Oh, terrific. Now we have to hear about your joystick. Speaking of horror, Bendy and the Ink Machine is getting adapted into a movie, published by Joey Drew Studios Incorporated, under the name of the game's inverse animation studio, Joey Drew Studios Incorporated. Inspired by the Ken Levine BioShock video game series. BioShock is a retro-futuristic first-person shooter with some RPG customization and stealth aspect. But in Bending the Ink Machine, the game is set in the fictional Joey Drew Studios. The player controls Henry Stein. Stein discovers a series of strange paranormal activities caused by the titular ink machine. In the game, players navigate through a first-person perspective and need to complete certain tasks to proceed, such as combat, collecting objects, or solving puzzles. Players can also find audio logs recorded by the studio's employees in order to understand the game's history. It sounds like the movie might be a mix of animation and live action. Hopefully in the vein of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Through a Scanner Darkly, or Enchanted.
What did I say in episode 2? I said every game Hollywood could grab was getting a movie adaptation, and here we are. And thanks to the Insomniac hack, we also know that there's a mature-rated Wolverine game coming with Jean Grey as a playable character, a Ratchet and Clank video game, my least favorite Sylvester Stallone movie, a Venom game next fall, Spider-Man 3 in 2028, and an X-Men game in 2030.
Ooh, I hope it's an Arrow game.
Which one?
Yes. Although, I do think it's kind of crummy they doxed employee Shemp Brando.
Yeah, they leaked employee information, they leaked the Spider-Man voice actors info, personal info. I don't want to give too much attention or any praise to the hackers themselves or anything. That's a terrible thing to do. But, like, seriously, if you're a gamer, you have so much to look forward to now.
Yeah, like, there's also Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League coming out, and it's apparently set in the Arkhamverse.
Yeah, that one didn't have a hack, but it did have a leak. The Alpha Test data mining leak allegedly says that Kevin Conroy's Batman is shot by Harley Quinn in a disrespectful way. People are upset about that because it's Kevin Conroy's last role as Batman and everything, but like, it's called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
We don't know how the game ends either. I mean, we don't know the context. Disrespectfully. Like what? Molotov! She gives Batman a bris?
She shoots him, but then the Rogues Gallery lines up to teabag him.
Oppa Gangnam Style, pony-ass smacks him. Like there's a respectful way to shoot someone. Dear Alfred, me and Puddin', Mr. J and I would like to invite Bats to a tea party. P.S. Please tell Bats not to wear a bulletproof cape. Sincerely, Harley Quinn.
I hate you, Joe Chill, but you murdered my parents. So, respectfully. Sincerely, Batman.
Jack Black is playing Steve, the default skin in Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie, which also features Jason Look at his biceps Moa. Netflix dropped a live-action 5-episode series of Yu Yu Hakusho directed by Sho Tsushikawa, Yoshihiro Togashi's animated series of the same name is still on Hulu. Coincidentally, I managed to find a 2004 Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament PS2 video game at a garage sale. Kurama and Botan are my favorites. This past November, they also released a Sublimation-produced 8-episode series of Capcom's classic Onimusha, directed by Shinya Sugai, and they're dropping subtle hints they might get a second season.
Sweet. Speaking of second seasons, there's also a Halo Season 2 coming in February.
In Kevin Smith news, it's the Clerks' 30th anniversary on January 20th. If you're in New Jersey that day, you can attend Clerks Open All Night at Smodcastle Cinemas, plus see Batman Returns on January 21st.
I got Clerks on VHS one Christmas. I think that my parents thought it was an age-appropriate, like, wacky workplace style sort of a comedy. It's definitely not. It was thrilling watching this thing that I knew I wasn't supposed to be watching. Then I invited friends over to sin with me.
I like knowing young Donnie helped share the corruption.
That began my love for Kevin Smith. I own all his Askew-universe movies. Clerks 3 had me on the edge of my seat in the third act, which is very rare when you're an adult fan familiar with the structure of movies, familiar with the structure of the medium. I even took my granny to see Jay and Silent Bob Reboot after I tricked her into seeing Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back 19 years earlier.
Great, your clerk's throwing your sweet granny. She wasn't even supposed to be there that day.
Having that personal connection to the Clerks franchise makes it closer to my movie's clogged heart. Hi, Granny. I hope I still sound like Don Imus.
That's so sweet. Anyways, Smith also said on his Fatman Beyond podcast he wants to do a Jay and Silent Bob Christmas movie. He's also currently writing a different Jay and Silent Bob film. After teasing his podcast retirement on Fatman Beyond episode 415, he immediately talked himself back out of it, assuring fans he'd be podcasting for his Cruise Askew event in February, swiftly adding he'll keep doing Fatman Beyond.
Who is he, Terry Funk?
I can hear it now. Fatman Beyond. Retirement Sucks Tour.
My Cosmic Circus reported the alleged Avengers 5 lineup. I guess potential spoilers, click out now if you don't want to hear the potential Avengers 5 lineup, but this is all rumors right now, so I don't feel bad about potentially spoiling it. We've got Sam Wilson, Captain America, Falcon, Captain Marvel, the Hulk, Valkyrie, Ant-Man, and the Wasp, Wong, Shang-Chi and or Shang-Chi, and Katie, and she hasn't really been around long enough. Why is she an Avenger? I don't like that one. I'm not really feeling this lineup, to be honest with you.
I wonder if they meant Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, due to Jeremy Renner's real-life injury. That might be fortuitous, that Kate and Clint Barton share the same Hawkeye code name. Or if they meant Shang-Chi's best friend, ballet, Katie Chen, played by Aquafina, who coincidentally also learned archery.
A possible mistake in the report also made it unclear if Spider-Man would be on the team. The report said that Spider-Man would be in Avengers 5, but the thing is, this movie was originally Kang Dynasty, then got retitled to Avengers 5. So, in the report, they said Spider-Man wouldn't be in this movie, but he would be in Avengers 5. Well, do you mean this new Avengers 5? Or the original Avengers 5?
I don't know. It sounds like they're putting a Spider-Man Band-Aid on the movie after the Jonathan Majors drama. Feels like a weird substitution. You know, Holland for Majors. Kang's the villain. To me, they should have swapped him out with, like, evil multiverse Doctor Strange.
Well, speaking of Spider-Man, Sony's also working on solo Doc Ock and Mysterio movies, but Jake Gyllenhaal isn't returning as Mysterio. Or is he? Chris Hemsworth is voicing Optimus Prime in the new Transformers 1 movie. The movie also features Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron, Scarlett Johansson as Alita, aka Alita 1, Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee, John Hamm as Sentinel Prime, Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion. Josh Cooley of Toy Story 4 will direct, and that's pretty cool. It's written by Gabriel Ferrari, ironic that it's a Transformers movie, and Andrew Barra, who did Ant-Man and the Wasp. As of January 1st, 2024, there's a lot of titles entering public domain, perhaps most notably the Steamboat Willie versions of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. They've already announced 2 Steamboat Willie horror movies. One is Mickey's Mousetrap, directed by Jamie Bailey and written by Simon Phillips. The trailer makes it seem like a mashup between Five Nights at Freddy's and 90% of serial killers from stereotypical slasher movies. I don't know how to feel about that one. There's also a video game coming titled either Infestation 88 or Infestation Origins. We literally saw it written both ways when doing the research for this episode. But anyway, one thing that's for sure is Steamboat Willie will be the final rat boss in that game.
On one hand, that's kind of funny, seeing that he's a mouse and you're an exterminator. But I find it dumb because Pete should be the final boss. He's such a jerk. Who wouldn't want to put that bully in his place?
Other titles in the public domain as of now include Peter Pan, the Marx Brothers Animal Crackers musical, All Quiet on the Western Front, D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover, W.E.B. Du Bois' Dark Princess, and Virginia Woolf's Orlando. So if you're an artist, go make some art.
Ugh, I have to immediately apologize to her fans, but I got suckered into reading Virginia Woolf for a book club I used to belong to. Not to be glib, but no wonder she's dead. Her stream of consciousness style of writing darn near killed me. She is not my cup of tea.
Tigger also hits public domain later this year, and he's already been confirmed to appear in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
As if Heffalump and Woozles isn't enough of a night terror acid trip.
And that'll do it for us this week. Tune in next time and take another bite of the GeeKlare.
Say goodnight, Donnie.
Ma era voon, Donnie.
Oh, now you remember.
Okay, fine, I'll put my pants back on.